Hi there folks. Today we'll learn if statements in Python. Basically if statements has the ability to verify conditions based on which the behavior of the program or code will be altered. So this was the syntax of if statement. If expression do something. Based on the resultant value of this expression, whether it was true or false, Python will continue to execute the next statement which was nothing but do something or whatever the code was here. Alright, let's see an example on the interpreter. Declare a variable and assign a value to it. Alright, let's apply this if statement on the above declared variable. Python initially executed this expression, whether hello exists in the string variable. In turn, what is string variable? String variable has a value of hello world in it, and hence Python has checked whether hello exists in this hello world. If it exists, Python executed the next statement. The next line of code, which was nothing but print hooray. So that's what about using if statements on particular string in Python. Let's apply this if statement on a list data type. Alright, now apply this if statement on the declared list variable. Awesome. So Python initially has executed this expression and it has checked whether string hello exists in the list variable, which has the two items in it, hello or wall. And if that exists, Python has gone to execute the next statement, which was print yes. And hence the result was yes. That which was the intended result for us. Alright, let's check with another example. Alright, now execute this if statement or apply this if statement on the above dict variable. There you go, you have the output. So this is the process of using if statements in Python. Alright, thanks guys.
Hi everyone. Now let's have a look at Python's if, elif and else statements. Here I have created a new file statements.py in the same location. In this, you will learn to create decisions in a Python program using if, elif and else statements. Decision making is required when we want to execute a code only if a certain condition is satisfied. The if, elif and else statements are used in Python for decision making. This is the syntax for if, elif and else conditions. Here, the program evaluates the test expression and will execute statements only if the test expression is true. Otherwise, it will check for the test expression of elif. Elif means the short form of else if. And if the test expression is true, body of elif is get executed, and if not, the control will go to the else statement. And the else statement is the last one, and if the condition is met, then the body of else will be get executed. And we have the flowchart of the if, elif and else statements over here. As we see in the syntax itself, the test expression of if is get executed if after testing whether the test expression is true, the body of if will be get executed, and if it is not true, then the test expression of elif is evaluated and check for whether it is true or false. And if it is true, body of elif is get executed, and if not, the body of else is get executed. And it will be more clear when we do a program. So let's go to the Sublime Text and let num equals 3. And the first statement, it is the if statement. If num greater than 0, this is the test expression. Enter. This if condition's body is identified by the indentation. Here the indentation starts, and we have a print expression here. Print num is positive, and the if body is terminated while it sees a non-indented block. So here we have the else if, that is our elif condition over here. Elif num equal to 0. Enter. Print num is 0. Here you might have noticed why we using double equal to over here. The single equal notation will assign a value to a variable, but the double equal sign is used to compare the value. So the last one, else. Here we can have no expression, else. Print num is negative. So that's it. So just go to the terminal and clear the screen. Then go to the Python statements.py and click enter. Num is positive. Since we given the 3 positive integer, it is printed as num is positive. And if we change this to a -3, then save it and go to the terminal again, then run the code again, then num is negative. And the flow of program is like this. The -3 is get assigned to the number num, and the if condition checks whether the num is greater than 0 or not, and it's not greater than 0, sorry. So it will not print num is positive, and elif condition is not also get satisfied. So the else condition is get satisfied, and thus it prints num is negative. That's how the if, elif and else statements work in Python. And we can have the same code like this here. If num greater than or equal to 0, if num equal to 0, this if is inside this if. So it is nested if else condition. And num is greater than or equal to 0. So let's change this to 3 again and save it. So now the condition is, if condition is true, it is greater than 0. And now it will check for if num equal to 0. Then it will print 0. And if else, then it will print it is a positive number. Since we are using Python 2.7, we don't need these brackets. That's one of the difference between Python 2.7 and Python 3. So let's run this code again, then go to the terminal and run again. Then it is positive number. That's the if, elif and else statements in Python. That's all for now. Keep watching. Thank you.
Welcome to the Python tutorial. Today we are going to talk about loop control statement in Python. So, loop control statements are a break statement and a continue statement. So, what is a break statement? Break statement simply used to terminate the loop, or we can say that it's simply used to break the loop. And after that, it will go to the next line or next statement. So this is all about a break statement. So now let us understand a break statement through a simple program. Here I opened a Python shell, and now I'm using a for loop to understand a break statement. Here string is a simple character. So now I initially print a simple for loop. Now here we get the result from S to Z, which is a simple for loop result. Now what happened when I put a break statement is inside this for loop body? For that I'll use if condition. So here you can see this is a if condition for break statement, and this is a else condition. So now after the else condition, I'll put a second statement, which is a hello. It will simply print a hello. So now if variable equal to I, which means that when a variable goes to the position of I inside this character, it will simply break the loop and goes to the next line, or we can say that next statement, which is this statement. So now I run this program. Now you can see what happened. So here you can see it will simply break the loop after the R character, which means that when a variable goes to the I position, it will simply break the loop and goes to the next line, which is a hello. So now I'll change the character inside this variable. I'll put k. So now here you can see there is no k inside this string character. So it will simply print the else condition, because the if condition is not satisfied. So it will simply print the else condition, and else condition is simply a string. After that, it will simply print the next statement. So now I'll again execute this program. So now here you can see there is no break inside this result. So it will simply print value from S to Z. After that, it will print the second line. So this is all about a break statement. So now, what is a continuous statement? Continuous statement is simply used to skip the loop and goes to the next iteration. Here I say it will goes to the next iteration, not in the next line. So it will simply skip the loop and goes to the next iteration. So this is all about a continuous statement. Now let us understand through a simple example. Here I again open a Python shell, and now I am again using a for loop to understand a continuous statement. Here again a string is a character. I am again initially print the simple for loop. Here we get the result from S to Z, which is a simple for loop result. Now what happened when I put a continuous statement inside this for loop? For that I'll use the if condition. So here you can see, if a variable goes to the position of I inside this string, it will simply skip the loop, or we can say that it will simply skip the character and goes to the next iteration, which is n, and after that which is a g. So this is a continue inside this for loop, and I'll again put a second statement after the continue loop, which is a hello. Now I'll execute this program. So here we can get the result. Here you can see there is no I inside this result, which means that I is skipped, and after that it will goes to the n and g. When the loop is completed, it will goes to the next line. So this is all about a continuous statement.